Hello everybody and welcome back to Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. I know it's been a while since I've last recorded, but I've been dealing with a bunch of other stuff. But last we left off, we went through the prologue as well as a brief combat tutorial. You will be seeing more combat here in the next segment. But we are going to be going through Valraven's illusionary trial. And if you do remember before, you do have to beat both of these bosses in order to open Helena's gate over there. So let's go ahead and proceed through Valraven, which is the red kind of shuriken looking thing.
Valraven, ancestor of the seers and master of ravens. He hunts his prey with his powers of illusion and feasts on their remains. Follow the path to Valraven and defeat him in battle to earn his mark. The gate to Helheim cannot be opened without it.
So upon immediately entering through the gate, you'll be entering like a small woodsy kind of area. And if you look off to your right, that is our, I think is our fifth collectible or sixth collectible. So we're gonna go ahead and run over here. We're gonna grab this real quick. I forgot what the run button was. I'm gonna give you a little brief history on Ymir. So hang on one second.
Ymir was a frost giant, a being of darkness, and all his sons and grandsons were dark after him. Of his daughters and granddaughters, some were monstrous, but others fair. But there was another who came from the ice. Buri. In shape, he was like a man, big and powerful. His son, Bor, took a fair giant to be his wife, and they had 3 sons. Odin was the eldest, and the Northmen hold him to be the foremost of the gods, the All-Father. Illusion hides the path to Valraven. Don't trust your eyes. Find another way to see the truth.
So Valraven's trials is a lot of, a lot of trickery involved. You basically have to look for a few different things. I'll show you the first one here in a second.
What's that? It's a door. Push it. Come on. Come on. He did it.
The first one are these gate-looking things. They're pretty obvious to spot out. What with the circular and the bloody twigs, always accompanied by a skull. Not always though. Kind of redundant what I just said there. But I'll give you a little bit of before, and when you look through, after. But here's the trick. You have to walk through the portal in order for it to stay like that. Now, it's open. But if I go back over, it's closed.
It's funny.
And once again,
We want to see behind
oh,
the
sorry.
veil, don't we? Once we do, we mostly just close our eyes again and pretend what we saw was never really there.
But yeah, in order to keep the illusion going, you have to go through the portal. And I'll give you a lot more descriptions on what those portals look like. But as for right now, let's continue forward.
reaches into the relentless darkness. All that lurks within it can see you too.
It's nearly over. Finish it. You won. Scared, she's scared.
The Northmen will not stop her. She will find what she's looking for.
Valraven's power of illusion comes from ravens. Align the ravens to break his magic seal.
Show me what you have seen, Truth. Look how much it's changed.
Alrighty. So our next portal, which is this one, which is 2 trees with a rope in between, kind of a skull dangling. Often it's not a skull, sometimes it's like a piece of wood or whatnot, maybe a doll. But once again, it is a portal. Because at first I didn't know. At first I completely blew through this, completely blew through this and just completely forgot that these were portals, because I was stuck for the longest time. But as always, before, after. And as always, you do have to go through
Align the ravens with the mark of Valraven.
the portal to keep the illusion open. Once you go through the portal, the illusion will stay open, and vice versa. And this can be tricky sometimes, not always though, because as long as you have the right orientation in play, like that, all you really have to do is just look, and there you go. You want to make sure you match up for that symbol. Door is now unlocked.
Can you feel it?
There really isn't no time trial with this. You won't lose any trophy progress if you take your sweet time. So it really is a game where they want you to be engulfed by the environment, to get the atmosphere, you know, the atmosphere, you know, get the creepy factor, the beauty, the musky dredge this game brings. But let's go ahead and continue forward, shall we?
the same, but feels different. A lost world, where the forest itself is watching. Another game.
Another game. You know what to do. Stay back. You have to open it. It's not safe. Don't listen to them. Listen, don't.
To break the seal, align the ravens with the mark of Valraven.
So this one, I had a little bit of a tricky problem last time I tried this. I was literally stuck here for probably a good 2-3 hours. Maybe not 3 hours, more like 2. To get through this. But once again, I forgot about these. And I just completely ignored the Actually, I think it's to go the other way.
I hear something.
Yes.
If you hear the song of Valraven, follow it, and it will lead you to him. But be aware of his illusions. You can't always trust your eyes.
Valraven.
Silence me.
Good old Valraven. And look at that. Oh, I always get confused here. Yep, I always get confused here. So it's behind you at this point, and this is where this puzzle is taking you. You get distracted by Valraven, you know, being a dummy. He's a big dummy. There's also an indication that the dummy is always pointing in the direction of where you need to be looking. I didn't know this at first, but as soon as I figured that out, the challenges became a little more simpler.
Is she lost? Will be the first time. Last winter.
And there we go.
Tragedy.
And right through here.
The wells of a native land.
But you'll also notice when I do that,
Roots and
it takes that wall away. We're going to be needing that wall, so what we're going to do...
such a person, a gallant. Some like truth become gallant in search of penance. Others, like sin, to purge a curse. Those who make it back are forever changed.
Sorry, I did not mean to talk over her. I have the volume turned down in my headset to help focus a little more on the game rather than the ambiance. She does do a lot more dialogue, and I'm going to be doing a little bit less dialogue. But after we open that door that you notice, we're going to once again shut this to where it's no longer a broken wall. That will in turn return the wall over here. That's where we want to go. And of course, Valraven is making a bunch of noise. Now we're going to cross said wall, because if we would have left that open, this wall would not be here. And the whole reason behind this is our 6th collectible.
wisdom and magic. There was a very wise being named Mimir, who guarded the waters of wisdom which flow from the roots of the World Tree. Odin wished to drink from this spring, but he had to pay a price. So he gouged out his own eye as an offering to Mimir. He drank from the well and traded one way of seeing for another.
She can get up now. What's happening? She can get up now. How can she get up? Must be magic. Dark magic. A trick. Valraven. Tricking her. Valraven. How can she get up? Bait. It's him. Dark magic draws her closer. It's not him. He's helping her. It's not him. It's a trick. She's doing.
Now with the staircase replaced, we can finally get to the very top. And once again, we form the pieces to make the symbol. These puzzles are relatively easy to figure out, but it's the environment that makes it a little more confusing. Because there's a lot going on with it, and despite being a very linear game, it's easy to get lost. But I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to continue on.
We picture fear, and we think of a shadow in the woods, a creature in the night. If only it were that simple. The worst kind comes without warning. A deep and primal signal from within. A reminder that just because you cannot see the threat, it doesn't mean that it's not already here.
By mashing the focus button, as soon as you hit the ground, you'll start to roll back up. It's a way to recover your, a little bit of your health. You do heal over time. Sometimes they won't tell you there's an enemy behind you. Sometimes you'll get hit without knowing if you're not completely careful about where you're looking. You easily get overrun in this game. And you'll notice as soon as the fight is over, a portion of the fence drops. That is where our 7th collectible is, our 7th lore stone.
The Northmen say that Odin and his brothers killed Ymir, and that the world of men was formed from his corpse. They made his bones into stone, and his flesh into earth, and his blood into the salt sea. They set his skull to be the bowl of the sky, with his brains for clouds. Odin and his brothers caught the sparks flying from Muspel and made them into stars. And to protect the new world from the giants, they used Ymir's great curving eyebrows as walls.
I forgot to warn you before, I just went straight into that combat trial. Some doors you can't open unless you do a certain act in the world, like what I just did, the little combat trial. Once you start seeing like that dark, hazy shadow creep over the world, obviously something needs to be done before it can go away. Whether it's a cutscene, a transition, or a trial like I just did. Sometimes doors...
She
Whoop.
can't go in there.
Hmm.
Valraven, he's there. She can't go in. Has to find another route. Truth says there's always another route. Find a way. Go round. Find your own path. There's a different way.
Forgive me, I think I got confused. Some doors are like that, yes, but I think I do have to continue going this way. Yeah, I had to keep going this way. Sorry about that. Damn it. Here we go.
Do you know what it's like to leave everything behind? Your home, loved ones, to head deep into the wilds, perhaps never to return? Senua does. Because when darkness speaks, it changes everything. Turning home into a foreign land and loved ones into strangers. Exile makes sense when you realize that you were never really home in the first place.
Sorry, I was just letting her finish. This is number 8 of the collectibles. If you follow the path I just took to get here, it's literally just a small hike away from the entrance you come in from. Let's go ahead and read this.
The Northmen say that Odin has 2 ravens. Their names are Thought and Memory, and each day he sends them out to fly all across the world. Upon their return, they perch on his shoulders and tell him everything they have seen and heard. In this way, he learns of things far and wide, and for this reason, he is called the Raven God. Senua, like Odin, you must seek wisdom through thought and memory if you are to succeed in your quest.
You'll notice none of the illusionary gates were working just now. That's because the trial hasn't started yet. There really is no reason for those to be on if you haven't even activated the trial yet. And if you go up to this main door right up here, and at this point, this is where the game gets a little tricky, and you're about to see why.
The song. Valraven song.
Forgive me, everybody. My PlayStation had a nice little hiccup, so I don't know how much I lost, but we just completed the time trial. Pray to God that well, actually, let me do a quick rundown. In case you guys missed out on everything I just covered. We looked through this gate right here, which unlocked that hole over there. We then climbed up, we repaired the wall that we opened, climbed over, and unlocked the first set of runes. Also in that vicinity, that's where your 9th collectible is. So I'm going to go over there and show you where that is right now. There's our 9th collectible over there. I've already solved all the puzzles, so I do really apologize. I really wanted to show this part, but my PlayStation felt the need to, forgive my language, take a giant shit on me in the middle of fucking recording, so. And then I proceeded over there, which you gotta look through another portal, and that unlocks that, and then from here, you just link up these 3. There were 3 runes right here. You just link them up, and it unlocks the final gate. Again, guys, sorry about that. Did not know my PlayStation was going to crap out on me. Hopefully you guys can forgive me, and forgive Sony for making a shitty, buggy-ass game. Well, this game isn't shitty. But let's continue, shall we?
Overcome Valraven's final illusion to face him in his keep. I know you can do it, Senua. You have the sight.
We both see the darkness. We can fight it together. Speak to me, Druth. Tell me a story.
Senua, listen. I will tell you the tale of a man called Findan. The Northmen captured Findan's sister, and his father sent him to pay for her release. But they took his gold, put him in chains, and held him for a day and a night without food or water. Then they released him. I don't know why. Upon his return, his father's enemies in Erin set fire to his home. His father burnt to death, and his brother was killed. But he escaped with sorrow in his heart. His father's enemies offered redress for his loss and invited him to a feast. It was at a hall near the sea. And when he went there, they betrayed him to the Northmen, who enslaved him and took him to hell. 6 years later, his slave masters landed on the shores of Orkney, burning all before them. And into that fire, Findan made his escape. What was Findan burnt away that day. But from the flames, a new man stepped forward, and Druth was born. Druth, the man that I am now. And though Findan never set eyes on his dear sister again, I, Druth, have found you, Senua.
I wish you could have seen my home before these dark times.
It's another little balancing act here. Again, when she starts to lean one direction, just slide the analog stick in the direction that she isn't, and you'll make it. Upon completing this here puzzle, you will start the fight with Valraven. Now, I'll be giving a lot of commentary in the next episode, in this next one, so please pay attention, because I had a completely tough time with this boss.
Broke. The gate is open. Open. He didn't.
This darkness. I know it from the wilds. It's coming back for me. I'm still here. Are you too? Where are we? I remember. It didn't end well in the wilds. It never does. You think you can overcome the darkness, make sense of it, and once relief settles in, it strikes out of nowhere, throwing you helplessly back into the maelstrom, drowning the mind in fear, deeper, deeper, dragging you down so far into the void that maybe this time there is no coming back. But there, in the darkness,
Senua,
and she remembered what he told her.
hear me. Reach out to me. Senua, take my iron mirror. Look into it, for it is a window into the underworld. Within, you will see the face of the darkness that you fear. And if you focus, like I have taught you to, you will also see that as much as the darkness has you trapped within its veil, it too is trapped within yours. Focus. Focus! Focus!
I see you. I see you now. You led me to the wilds. You trapped me there.
Okay, so this entire fight, I do apologize, I'm going to be discussing word for word, because I can't really pause and give you advice here and there. So we're about to fight one of the most difficult bosses in the game, Valraven. I died to the point where I had the black rot creep up to nearly touching my shoulder. So, now that I am aware of how he works, we're going to go ahead and try and fight him. We have acquired a brand new ability, which is... Before I get into that, though, I'm going to show you his moveset. Whenever he backs off like that, he's going to do one of two things. He's going to do that, or he's going to do a weird twisty lunge thing. And that's the twisty lunge thing. So he has two movesets. Now if you hold down L1 and R1 and R2, it freezes time, but you have to wait until your mirror recharges before you can do that again. And that is the only way you can combat these smoky enemies. You'll notice the smoky enemies from the very beginning that show you how to use the functionality of rot. The more you let it build up, the longer you'll be able to stay within that special. You'll notice I have one blue swirly already. If I keep fighting, I have another blue swirly. Valraven is going to do his swirly attack. Dodge. Lunge forward. There's a heavy attack. That one's easy to predict and easy to dodge, but if he hits you with it, you're lucky if you survive. Dodge left. Dodge right twice. Dodge left. Dodge right. Dodge right, right. If you were to block one of those, which I will show you next time, go ahead and pause time. See, that's what the effect does. If you block it just in time, you can actually deflect it and send it right back at him, stunning him for a brief moment. Hopefully I can pull it off. It's actually really cool looking. Keep walking into that move. I'm not 100% sure on how to dodge that move. There it is. Got him. You see it stuns him for a brief moment, but I'm going to let my health regen before I try and attack him. Dodge. Now you'll notice these guys are starting to look a little more smokier. And remember, there's two of them now, so you have to make sure you look behind you. Put some distance between you and an enemy if you can.
Find a good position. Fight again. Feel their blood.
Damn it. We're gonna go ahead and pause time. Our health is a little low here. And you can also cancel this. You hit the button again. That way it'll save what you have remaining left in your mirror. This next half of the boss fight, you're going to be fighting him in that form. And the only way to do actual damage to him is by breaking your mirror, or using your mirror ability. There we go. Remember, you can only do damage with him when he's not in that smoky form.
You're stronger than him. Focus now. I never beat you in the wilds, did I? It was an illusion. But not this time.
The mark of Valraven, one of the keys to the gate to Helheim. Hold it in your mind's eye.
With every battle, the darkness grows stronger. Every victory bringing her closer to defeat. Unfair, isn't it? In those dark winter nights in the wilds, there were times when she considered letting go. If it weren't for Druth, a chance encounter in the wilds, she would not have heard his stories of the Northmen. And she would not have this chance to find Dillion's soul.
I'm coming. I still hear you.
I'm hoping my little brief, even though it was kind of all over the damn place, combat tutorial on Valraven was a little bit helpful. Because now that I knew what I was dealing with, I actually didn't get hurt all that bad. I got actually hurt worse from the Northmen that showed up than actual Valraven. There are no more collectibles in this area.
She would lay in the grass and stare at the clouds. And there she saw them. Elusive. Shifting faces. After a while she could see the faces everywhere. The trees. The mountains. Caves.
And now that Valraven is beat, we are going to backtrack the way we came from. Getting to actually see a little bit more of the environment now instead of a cloudy, dreary feeling. We're now looking at something a little more pretty.
I wonder, can you see the faces too? They're there, if you look for them.
Throughout the entire game from this point forward, you will find these faces. This one's a little more obvious, but sometimes if you look in like the foliage or the trees or the water, you'll see an outline of a face. I've only found a handful my last playthrough.
Senua, you have the sight. Just like I do. Once you can see into the underworld and all the souls within it will see you. Don't be afraid when they speak to you. I will always be here to guide you.
Did you see her? That was her mother. Galina. She was a priestess. A healer. She taught Senua to see the weave that binds the world together. And it was beautiful. It was a time before the darkness. But when it did come, it first came for her mother. Senua still sees her face from time to time, hidden in the world. Like she's still watching over. She misses her so much.
Those faces, although they are pretty interesting, they don't really give you any sort of a collectible value. They're just there for kind of a aesthetics and just an overall feel for the game and how her mother was. Seek for them at your leisure. I'm just letting you know you don't really need to collect them. Although I would be kind of curious to what they all say, because I've only, like I said, I've only seen like maybe 2 or 3 of them. Another combat. This gentleman hits a lot harder than the others. He also has a little bit more health, and his movesets are slow and easy to predict. Another one. We have a lighter hitting sword Northman behind me.
Behind you! It's nearly over. Finish it. Go.
Don't forget, you still got this now. Now that's been permanently unlocked, it makes these combat segments even a little more interesting. Almost kind of 300.
Behind you. You're close.
Alright, our next enemy type. Mace guy with a shield. At first glance, I did not know how to fight this guy, because every direct attack he always blocks, and after a certain amount of hits, guard breaks you and kind of pushes you away. And I always originally thought just by flashing, you can go around him and start attacking. While this does work, it also wastes your mirror. So the trick with this guy, try not to die first. There's a shield bash.
Take him down. Take him down now.
You have to kick his shield with your melee, the melee option.
The gate. She needs to go back. She can't. It won't open. Why won't it open? There's another challenge. She hasn't challenged Cert.
But in the next video, we are going to be covering Cert and his trial, as well as his boss fight. He's actually a little more interesting than Valraven, but he's also a lot easier than Valraven, because, well, I'll let you find that out in the next video. But again, guys, I do apologize for my PlayStation hiccuping on an error. Error hopefully didn't destroy that entire video. If not, I do apologize, and I will, answer any questions you guys have about that area. But as always, guys, thank you so very much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I shall catch you all in the next video. Bye bye.